So in New York, they say, we don't think you should go back to Jamaica. We think you should stay here. Your movement ain't doing nothing over there because of the color-coded hierarchy. So Garvey decides to stay in New York City. And when he did that, he switched the headquarters from Jamaica to New York, because in the Constitution of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, wherever the President General lives is where the international headquarters shall be. So when Garvey gets to New York, he pays a visit to W.E.B. Du Bois at the office of the Crisis, the NAACP's paper. And they have a conversation. It was pretty favorable. But Garvey said he knew something wasn't right because everybody working for Du Bois in the office looked like they could be white. See, and don't get me wrong, I was just at Du Bois' grave in Ghana 3 weeks ago. But I got to be honest as well. W.E.B. Du Bois was a light-skinned supremacist. Yes, he was. He did not like dark-skinned people around him. That's right. He's the father of the boule. Yes. In fact, he's quoted as saying what? The boule was started to keep the educated black man away from Marcus Garvey. Yes. He's the father of the talented 10th. That's right. It was Du Bois who said the college-educated Negro would save the race. I wish he was here today. It looks to me like the race needs to save the college-educated Negro. So then he goes and he meets A. Philip Randolph, famous from Chicago for organizing the first black union, one of the first, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. He gave Marcus Garvey one of his first speaking engagements before he became an enemy. We know A. Philip Randolph not only for his great works, but he was also one of our first closet homosexual leaders. And one day we're going to have to do a research study on the role of the black homosexual in undermining the black struggle. So Garvey incorporates the UNIA, and then he launches the Negro World newspaper. Now, mind you, his close friends are Dr. Carter G. Woodson, father of Black History Month; Arthur Schomburg, the first to systematically study black history; J.A. Rogers. These are our master teachers, and they're all Garveyites writing for the paper. Garvey's paper was so feared by white colonialists in Africa that it was outlawed in half the colonies in Africa. If they caught you with Garvey's paper, you could be beheaded or sentenced to life in prison just for having a paper. The Negro World paper to this day has been the most notorious, the most feared, and the most circulated black newspaper of all time. Here's a man in the early 1900s telling people that your child should not be playing with white doll babies. And then Marcus Garvey opened a doll factory. This is before Kenneth Clark's doll experiment in the Brown versus Board of Education. This is before Thurgood Marshall. This is before Kenneth Clark went to the Supreme Court with the black doll, white doll test, using that to strike down segregation. That wasn't until the 50s. This is the 20s. And Garvey said, black children need black dolls, and I'm going to make them. So then he starts the Negro Factories Corporation. Some of y'all don't know this, but the UNIA had two colleges, Booker T. Washington University and Liberty University in Virginia. People don't know that. And what is Garveyism? Garveyism is the highest stage of Pan-African nationalism. It can be summed up as number one, belief that if you're going to give God a color, it better be your own. Garvey said, what people you know ever get free? Worshiping a deity that looks like their enemy. And then Garvey said, we must identify as African people. He said that being African must be first in your life. And so he came up with a term called race first. He said the Jew is a Jew before he's anything else. The Italian is an Italian before he's anything else. The Arab is an Arab before he's a Muslim or a Christian. And he said you got to be African before you identify as being a Delta or a Kappa or a Q or a SG Row or a Mason or an Elk or a doctor or a lawyer. You are African first. And then Garvey said, we must have African racial pride. He said it's not enough to just study where you come from. It's not enough to know the facts and the dates. He said it must be internalized as a part of your spirit. He said be proud to be African. Marcus Garvey started a Black Drama Club Society. They didn't have television yet, so what they would do at the UNIA on the weekends is they would put plays on. The Haitian Revolution, turn it into a play. The life of Harriet Tubman, turn it into a play. Brothers and sisters, we need to get back to that. We might can't control what they put on TV, but do you know how powerful a live stage play can be to the psyche of Black folks? We have to dramatize our history. You ever wonder why you never seen a movie on the Nat Turner resurrection? Why you never seen a movie on the Garvey movement? Why there's never been a movie on the Haitian Revolution? You know why? Because the white man knows that if you show a people their potential using image and sound, which are the two languages of the unconscious, you can take the slavery out of a people overnight. Remember, the conscious was conditioned through image and sound, and the conscious could be deconditioned through image and sound. Speaking of conditioning, yesterday, Straight Outta Compton debuted. A movie about the story of niggas with attitudes. One of these niggas gave USC $41 million and ain't give a black college a damn penny. But guess what? Straight Outta Compton is one of the highest grossing black movies of all time. $50 million in one day. That's more than Barbershop, ain't it? Yup. That's higher than most Tyler Perry. Yup. That's higher than most of the white movies that came out this week. Yup. You know why it came out right now? You got a campaign of the police killing black males. We got to justify it. So we gonna dramatize black men acting like niggas, so when the cops kill them, won't nobody say a damn thing about it. Somebody told you television was all about entertainment. Television ain't about no entertainment. You think Scandal is just about entertainment? Scandal is about making sure the image of the black woman as a trifling Jezebel slut stays in the American center. You think Empire is all about entertainment? Check it out. Lucius, Hakeem, Andre. Lucius, Hakeem, Andre, and Jamal, 4 black men. One power hungry, one hyper masculine, one hyper feminine, and the other one a bourgeois. And not one of these 4 black leading men in this sitcom, which is Black America's favorite, not one of them has a positive relationship with a black woman. What did Adolf Hitler say about brainwash? Adolf Hitler said, this ain't no big secret, the way you get this done. He said, come up with your lie. Impress it upon the people's minds. Say it over and over and over. Never defend it, just repeat it. And sooner or later, it's something about the mind that will accept it as a fact. And that's all they doing with us. I just checked my email when I was backstage a minute ago. I got an email from the producer of Atlanta Housewives. Housewives of Atlanta, the producer email. She said they want me to have a therapy session with one of the sisters on the show on live television. It might be the cute one. I'm going to do some research on it because I'm trying to see if there's some way I can loop this into some money for the Fred Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. I didn't even know the Housewives of Atlanta knew who the hell I was. Damn! I didn't win Main Street. Literally, when I went out there to...
Don't be seduced by the money.
No, sir.
Don't be seduced.
No, sir. Well, you know Dr. Umar ain't in love with no dollars. But if I can get a few for the school, I'm going to get a few for the school. But I'm with you on that, Elder. As Garvey said, we're going to have to sell black people to black people. Marcus Garvey said, I have to sell the Negro to himself. We got to do the same thing. One thing that strikes me most about Garvey in his writing, in his preaching, and his teaching is how optimistically positive he was, no matter how bad the circumstances is. All of us in here are going to have to become revolutionary optimists because black folk are always used to believing in the worst. You're going to have to condition them to believe in the best. But the difference between the way we do it and the way they do it in the religious community is we not telling them things going to get better because Jesus coming to change it. We tell them it's going to get better because we coming to change it.